You all begin a funeral, and I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna go with Quo interrupts Elowen as you guys arrive to the Barncroft Penthouse, which is this large, towering building on the city streets in the noble district of Loxton. It is just beautifully like architecture, very Victorian, very Gothic. And these big golden letters of the Barncroft kind of appear overhead, where two men in armor, like very nice plated armor, stand guard at the door. And can everyone roll a perception check for me? Did anyone get higher than an 18?
I got exactly an 18.
Okay.
I got 7, 10. I got 10.
Okay.
14.
Okay. Lucan? He did?
14.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, no, you're okay. Meryl, you were the only one to notice that high up on the tower, there is a window that has like boards on it, like it's been boarded in from the inside, as if like glass had like shattered. But you're the only one that notices this. So Quill, he like puts his arm out in front of Elowen and says, "Ah, looks like we're already here." What the hell was that? Looks like we're already here.
It's better.
Hold on. But it looks like we're already... I don't like that... I'm having weird accent challenges right now. Looks like we're already here. That sounds better. That's more Quo. He's not hoity-toity with his accent. Looks like we're already here.
Didn't take very long.
I'm just a couple streets over, not too bad.
Penthouse, where that other lady was?
Yes. Tiffany Barncroft. She is the wife of the Barncrofts. Oh my god, what is it? Wow, I'm having a brain fart right now. It's like I'm going through a stroke.
Was it Jason? No.
No.
It was... Ross is her husband?
Is that what I said? Ross?
That's what I've written down. Tiffany Barncroft, her husband Ross.
Okay.
They're very wealthy nobles who are still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I wrote down.
There we go. We'll go with Ross then. Yeah, she married into the family quite some time ago. Beautiful. Absolutely. She's quite well known in the city. Very socialite. Although Ross himself, he's more of a hedge fund, so... But anyways... excuse me, sirs. And he steps forward, approaching the two guards. I do have an appointment with Mr. Ross Barncroft. I'm Quo. These are my fellow detectives working on Tiffany's case. And then the guard, he like looks him up and down and he says, "Alright, head on in." And then Quill kind of turns his head and like nods you guys inside into the kind of main lobby of this penthouse type of tower, basically. As you enter, you immediately are overcome with the smell of like clove and oranges, like just a beautiful sight or smell of the lobby. And you can see like the marble flooring of it, and just the gold designs of just this beautiful penthouse. Basically, it's meticulously furnished with like the best and trendiest interior design that money can buy. Every corner of the penthouse is just this demonstration of like wealth and power. When you step inside of the reflective marble floor, you realize that it's all just led up to the grand finale. This panoramic like mosaic of the city. Breathtaking, but boy does it feel empty. You can see that there are multiple armed guards in like shining armor and plating, with like the B embossed on their chest plates, signaling that these are the guards of the town. There is this kind of lounge with a bar, as well as kind of the hotel, or not hotel, but like a desk, a courier service where there's mailboxes, all of the people who live in this tower. And there is an elven woman who is she's got these like real tight glasses and her hair pulled real back tight, very tall and slender. His Quill goes over to the table and begins a conversation kind of out of earshot of you guys, before he returns back over and says, all right, I've been able to get you guys up to the Penthouse. I want you to talk to Ross, see what you can get, type of any information that you might be able to find. I'm going to talk to the guards that were on duty the night Tiffany died, see if they remember anything or anything like that. Meet me back down here in an hour, okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
The elven woman, she waves you over and says, right over here. And she, some of the guards, like, kind of not usher you, like, as in, like, forcefully pushing you towards the lift, but they just kind of show you where the lift is. The kind of metal doors kind of open with a crank, and on the inside there is a bellhop. And he's this, like, short, like, dwarven kind of looking bellhop with a big smile on his face. He says, where to?
To Mr. Ross Barncroft?
Yes, the penthouse. One moment. And he pulls down on a lever as the iron grates kind of close up, and you can feel the lift pulling you up. And he just kind of stands there for a moment. He's like, terrible tragedy what has happened to Miss Tiffany.
Yes, it is. You didn't happen to see anything, did you? We're detectives working with Detective Quo on this case.
I'm so sorry, dear, but I was not working the night Miss Tiffany died. Terrible, terrible thing.
What was she like? Was she nice?
Oh, Tiffany, she was absolutely beautiful. A lot of men and women fawned over her. She was, let's see, in her late 30s, I would say. She just turned heads everywhere she went. I do remember one night they were coming down. They were going to go see some show at a local hole in the wall. Oh, I can't remember its name, but they went to go see Miss Vivianne Dupree.
Was it the Velvet Leash?
That's the ticket. I do remember the Velvet Leash. They were dressed in their finest outfits that day.
Oh, I didn't know we had to dress nice for that place. Oh.
When did you say this was? I'm sorry.
It was just a couple nights ago. I can't quite remember. Maybe 4 days ago?
You were very helpful.
Absolutely. Oh, looks like we're here. Good luck. And the doors like open up to reveal this immaculate penthouse. You when you first step in, you see this kind of lounge that has these stained glass looking like windows that overlook the city of Loxton. And you see like the oak paneling of everything, and it just looks just immaculate. Here we go, finally. Very Victorian, very immaculate, very rich. Like, they spare no expense on this penthouse. Some of the bigger ticket items in this room is this grandiose piano over in the corner by the windows. There's a portrait of Tiffany, what seems to be Ross, that's painted on the wall, or on on a portrait. There's a large fireplace, these plush like fur skin like rugs and everything like that. And then you see a man stand up in a very nice looking suit. He turns around and he says, Yes. You must be with the detectives, yes?
We are.
I don't have all day, so let's get to the questioning if you have them. And he offers you a seat in the lounge.
Thal will sit down very timidly, kind of crossing her feet.
We'll sit down as well.
Meryl, can you roll a perception check for me?
Sure. Meryl will stand behind Elowen and Val. Ooh, that is a 23.
Perfect. So immediately, the penthouse seems afflicted by the same swamp as the like the alley in the Velvet Leash, albeit with like gnarly dead trees, giving off the feeling of long dead hopes and dreams, and a prevailing emptiness as you kind of like walk into the room.
Writing it down.
So,
More questions?
Mr. Barncroft, when was the last time you saw Tiffany? She just like looks at the others.
The night my wife died.
Yeah, but like, was it like where in this place? Like, was it in this room? Was it in the bathroom?
It was here before I went to work.
In this penthouse?
That's what I just said.
In this exact room? Can you show us where her body was found?
I wasn't here when her body was found. The chief of security is actually the one who found it, because they said this hooded figure was seen leaving it.
Hooded figure.
Yes, they described him as small and always wearing a hood.
How small? Like the height of a dwarf, maybe?
Perhaps, yes.
I hope this isn't too coarse, but I was wondering, how was the relationship with your wife? Did you have a lovely marriage, or were you guys doing just fine?
We were fine.
Okay.
Insight check.
Sure.
I don't know what my insight is. Oh my gosh, that's another 23.
Hell yeah. So you can see that he does have some type of cold-hearted, like kind of aura about him. He seems to almost not really care about his wife's passing. Like he's just very like on to the next type of thing, just from what he says.
So you were at work. You were at work while this happened. Did you know if she had any plans of this evening, or was she just going to stay at home?
No. If I'm being honest, I don't keep up to date with my wife's schedules and daily duties. She doesn't have a job, so she just goes around, flaunts herself, buys new things, and that's about it.
So, you guys were going to see Vivianne Dupree at the Velvet Leash, right?
That is right.
What can you tell us about that night?
It was like any other. We got drinks down at the bar, made our way through carriage over to that seedy lounge, if you'll call it. She wanted to go. I really didn't care to go. I don't really care about Vivianne Dupree and her fall from being the downtown's most soulful singer, but she liked her, so I went.
Did anything suspicious happen while you were there?
Other than the drinks were horribly watered down and extremely expensive, no, didn't.
You didn't see any, like, hooded figures, or you have no reason to think that there might be a connection there?
Some people wore masks and leather. I didn't ask questions.
Fair enough.
Any other suitors who pursued your wife, knowing that she was taken?
Well, as you can see, and he looks over, like, kind of to the portrait on the wall. My wife was very beautiful, and she had a lot of men and women who fawned after her, but nothing that I could put a finger on. Not that I really cared either. No one has money like a Barncroft.
Question for the DM. The murder victim from the Velvet Leash's name was what?
Fox,
Darnell
Mr. Fox.
Fox.
Darnell Fox.
Darnell Fox, thank you.
Did you? Well, okay. Was this an arranged marriage?
It was not.
You just don't seem very sad. If you, like, lost your lifelong partner.
Let's just say that Tiffany and I, we've been together for 15 years, ever since I was young and dumb and full of love. But now that I have money and that I can buy things that can win my affection, Tiffany just didn't do it for me anymore. Of course, I'm saddened at her passing, but there'll be new, younger, hotter versions of her.
That's very forward for somebody who's a potential suspect.
A suspect? Why would I be a suspect? I wasn't even here.
Well, I believe standard procedure says that the partner is always the first suspect.
So you're saying that I am possible in this crime?
No, I'm just saying you're being very brash for somebody whose wife was recently murdered in mysterious circumstances.
Well, the thing is, though, she died of a heart attack, according to the coroner.
Do you believe the coroner?
Absolutely. They found no poison or any wounds on her at all. They said just her heart gave out.
Have you ever seen the coroner before?
No. Have you?
No, I just wanted to see how tall he was.
I have no idea how tall the coroner was.
It's okay, I was speaking out loud.
Tiffany know that you were buying your passion?
I mean, as you can see, yes.
You didn't have a problem with it?
No, because she spent just as much. If not more. I mean, she got this piano over here, and none of us play it. It's just there as a decorative piece.
Did she have any history of heart trouble?
No. Not that I know of.
This may be a little more personal, maybe, I'm not sure. But, could I ask what Tiffany's maiden name was before she became your wife?
Lilycourt.
Lilycourt.
Sorry, the Winnie the Pooh is knocking me off
I
a little
know.
bit.
It's really cute, though.
I'm so happy.
It's the perfect juxtaposition to this exact scenario. Well, if you have no more questions for me, I believe it's time you may going.
I actually have one more question.
Fine.
Would we be allowed to maybe inspect some of the upper floors more, just to see if there was a route in which he got in, or if he maybe left something
When
behind?
you can explore my penthouse as soon as you come back with a court-ordered warrant.
Okay. I meant no disrespect. I didn't want to push. I just,
Yes.
Did
Nope.
Tiffany?
There is no more questions at this time. I think it's all time you all leave.
Well, thank you for answering our questions. If we need further questions, we will be sure to call you back down to our offices. Thank you so much. We wish you a good night.
He stands up and like brushes off his suit and says, "Absolutely."
Right. Val's gonna do one more scan of the room real fast to see anything like could be weird in a rich place, I guess. Especially the piano.
I was gonna say, I definitely think we should look at the piano.
I got a natural 20.
nice.
Okay. So, trying to think. As you kind of exit to leave the penthouse, you make it a kind of a point to like go around towards where the piano is. And you do see that on the piano keys there is one ticket to Vivianne Dupree's show at the Velvet Leash next week.
Okay. She's gonna smile a little bit curtly and then pitter-patter out of the room.
The doors open back up, and you see your bellhop in there. He's like, already back down to the first floor, the ground floor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Guess.
Alrighty, and then he hits one of the levers again, and the elevator starts to move. It descends a couple floors, and then it stops, and then opens up, and then there is a tiefling that is dressed in very nice looking robes, very nice accessories dangling from his like ears and necklaces and stuff like this. He seems to be very like, obviously has money. He goes, yes, Mr. Duval, it's good to see you. He says, yep, back down to the ground floor, please. And he's certainly, and he pulls a lever again, and the bellhop says, these are the investigators working on the death of Miss Barncroft. Horrible, isn't it? And you see the tiefling like roll his eyes, and he's like, yes, and I could not stand the incessant piano playing the other day. I could hear them, they're right underneath of me. And then the bellhop says, oh, I am so sorry about that. If there's anything that we can do to make, and the tiefling goes, no, it's fine. And he goes about and he kind of looks you over and he like nods his head as you descend back down to the ground floor, and the doors open up and the tiefling goes on about his business. And you see Quo over in the corner of the room, where the kind of lounge is. He has a glass of tea, and he seems to be interviewing one of the security guards. As he sees you all exit the lift, he kind of stands up and he shakes the security officer's hand, and then he meets you back over, and he's like, alright, well, I learned a little bit. Hopefully you guys did as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot.
He's a little brash.
I understand. Alright, well, let's head back out. Have a good day, sir. And the security officer nods his head as you guys head back out to the streets of Loxton, where you kind of step out and kind of get off without earshot. And he says, alright, so what did you learn?
Well, who wants to go first?
He doesn't really care.
No.
He doesn't care, but something's weird.
Mhm.
I know I didn't say anything earlier, but the piano, I like kind of looked at it and there's a ticket for Vivianne's show next week on it. This one ticket though. I don't know if it's his or maybe a pre-purchased ticket for Tiffany. And then he said that she never played the piano, but that guy said he always heard the piano being played.
He heard it a few days ago, and I believe she's been, dead for a week, right? Or am I getting my information mixed up?
2 days ago was Mr. Fox's death. 4 days ago was the night of Tiffany's heart failure.
So that would mean whoever was playing the piano left that ticket there.
Maybe they wanted to play with Vivianne? I don't know.
Maybe they wanted to see her, and the last place they saw her was the Velvet Leash.
That is interesting. I talked to the chief of security. He actually got a glimpse of our killer, possibly.
Really?
Said that he was some skinhead in a hoodie, 25 to 30 years old. Apparently he had tricked his guards to get up into the lift, and from there he went up to the Barncroft's penthouse and probably scared Tiffany to death. Supposedly he nearly escaped the guards by crashing through one of the upper windows, and falling down into one of the dumpsters in the alley, and fled the scene before he could be apprehended.
We need
But-
to get a warrant We need it. We have to get up there. I saw the window too coming in, and Ross was very against us going anywhere but where he could see us.
So what's the plan?
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get a warrant because they haven't ruled her death being a murder.
Well, who hired you?
Me, myself, and I, because I know there has to be something more deeper into this.
So, in order to get it ruled as something other than a heart attack, we need evidence, right? That's how this
Exactly.
works?
Exactly. We need a motive, a means, and evidence, basically, linking the murderer to it. But so far, we kind of know who the murderer is. At least we have a description of him. But I did manage to find one last thing, and he reaches into his trench coat pocket. When I was in the bathroom, one of the stalls didn't work, and I was like, for a place like this, too rich for something not to be in working order. So with a little bit of manipulation, I was able to find out what was going on. Something was stuck in the pipes, and he pulls out this. It's a vial of some sort of liquid. Can't possibly detect what it is, but I have a feeling that someone wanted to hide this. I'll have to get it tested at the lab. Thankfully, Nathaniel's really good at that with potions and elixirs, so hopefully he'll be able to decipher exactly what this liquid is.
I wonder if it has anything to do with his heart attacks, because every victim has had a heart attack, but they have no history of heart problems at all, and I feel like it could have been injected to them somehow. I think we need to see the coroner as well to see a toxicology report. That was a lot of big words for her.
I managed to actually get the toxicology report, so that's one good thing that I've been able to procure. However, from the report, there was no signs of poison or any toxins within her body.
But what if it isn't something that is known?
It's
There is
possible.
many magical means of doing stuff like that that wouldn't necessarily show up as a poison such as nightshade or stuff like that.
Or
Right you
something
are,
way
Elowen.
off.
The only thing that I have going on with that is that this coroner's report was originally sealed, and I was able to see the exact original copy of it. They spared no expense dissecting Tiffany's body. They didn't find anything magical or benign. The weirdest thing of it all, the vial is full.
What if you brought up a backup?
Possible.
Maybe it's
Well,
a
if there's
different kind of potion. What if it's some sort of like memory potion? I mean, I don't really know what kind of that stuff exists, but it could have some other purpose.
You're right. I'll definitely have to get back to Nathaniel. Oh, it's nearly tea time. I'm going to run back to the office and I'll have him kind of dissect what's going on with this bottle. You guys are free to do whatever you want. You come back with me or do your own types of investigations, but it was really nice getting to meet you all.
You too.
Thank you.
Everas finally has a little bit of hope left in the world.
Well, I have a quick question.
Of course.
Some of us don't have papers. Do you have any idea how would we get them?
You need identification.
Yes,
I can get you some. Absolutely. With my recommendation, I'll be able to get you all something, and for the time being, I can get you something. I'll have it by the end of the day today. Just swing by the office.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. The only thing that's going to be a little bit hard is if none of you have any type of records within Oxley. If you're from out of the region, it's a bit harder. Altus, that region, they see a lot of their records uptight, so it might be a little bit harder, but Baili, you're from here, right?
Yeah, I have my ID papers.
Perfect. Does anyone else have them? Okay.
Lucan would
Yes.
have papers, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought. That's what I was going with. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Alright, well, where are you from, Elowen? I'm presuming somewhere forest, the enchanted forest, perhaps?
Yes. Not the. Oh, hold on. Is it the ancient? No.
The forest of Dusk-Dawn is, like, encapsulated as the enchanted forest.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yes.
what tribe are you from?
I'm from the Abori tribe.
The Bori. Alright, that actually should be quite easy. I have a few contacts there.
But we don't have anything like paper or records or anything like that.
I'll be able to find something at least. As long as I have some type of viable documentation from a leader, an elder in the tribe, that should suffice enough.
But I'm adopted.
Oh dear. Do you remember any of your parents?
I was given away as an infant.
Right, this might be a little bit harder. I might have to come up with a fake identification for you for the time being. Meryl,
Oh no. I'm from the same forest, actually, the Belladonna tribe.
Oh. okay,
Travel, so it might be harder to find them. But if you do get into contact with them, ask
Well, you-
for my mother, whose name is Olena.
Elena. You would happen to be baptized by the Church of Grim at all?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I'm on my
Alright.
pilgrimage, actually.
Oh, well, good luck to you. Absolutely. You'll have to check out the St. Grim Memorial Cathedral and Cemetery. It's actually just across from Sherwood Park.
I plan on making a visit for sure, once maybe people stop getting murdered. Although, this is the kind of thing that is perfect for me, so it's a good thing we're on the case.
Welcome to Loxton, you all. And he turns and he heads back to the office.
So what's
Well,
the plan?
Mr. Barncroft sure wasn't very helpful. I want to get into those top floors, and if we can't get a warrant, I want to find another way to do it.
I bet you we could.
I want in there. That's where the answers are. I also think maybe we should look. They said he fell down onto the alley below. Maybe there might be some signs of his getaway.
It is technically public space, is it not?
I don't see why we couldn't be back there. If someone questioning us will say we lost a dog.
Yeah.
I also think we should just see what the coroner looks like. I'm afraid he might have been paid off.
Fair. I'd also kind of like to look into, I don't know how we would do this, but why would it be Darnell Fox and Tiffany? Why those two? And we have Tiffany's maiden name. Maybe there's a connection between the families or something.
And don't forget, you have a third as well. But you haven't investigated that branch yet.
All of them are connected by Vivianne Dupree.
That's it, girl.
This is a good point.
I'm the last man you all bother today.
That there has to be something with her. Or with the Velvet Leash.
At least it's very coincidental that the Velvet Leash, but is somewhere to dig a little deeper.
So what should we do?
We haven't gotten too far. Why don't we check out that alley?
I wish we could get a warrant. I really think that we should get upstairs if we can.
This would be a good time to scope walls that maybe we could climb or other entrances in.
I don't think it would be a good idea to go all the way up there without a warrant.
If we can't get a warrant, then that means giving up on investigating probably the most prime territory for clues.
And it's only a bad idea if we get caught.
But what if we do get caught?
I don't know.
Better ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
This place
I
doesn't
like the
look
way you
like
think,
it
Vivian.
acceptably ask for forgiveness and let you off with a pat on the hand.
Well, then we cannot get caught.
It's also a
I don't-
tiny possibility that maybe our detective friend could pull some strings if we get in trouble, but I don't know how much sway he'll actually have.
He also said that we only couldn't get a warrant if we had no reason to think it was a murder. If we're able to just get a little bit of solid evidence, maybe.
Also, how are they not seeing that it's a murder if there's someone who threw themselves out a window to get away?
unless somebody's paid off, like you said, Thal. There's something fishy going on.
I like that. Fishy. Some dirty cops.
Let's head to the alley. Start there.
So, you guys go to the nearby alley, which looks to be connect to the Barncroft, and you can see straight down the alley. There's no dumpster. There's not even trash or debris. It's almost as if this entire alley has been cleaned up recently.
Can I look up at the boarded up window and look closely at it and see if I notice, like, anything about the boards or any, like, maybe hint that someone climbed out? Is there any blood? Like, what's going on with the window?
It would be too far up to really discern any type of information, so it's just a boarded up window.
I see if there's any sorts of blood pattern or footprints or anything like they possibly missed at all down the alley.
You can go ahead and roll a perception check.
14.
Again, looking at the alley, it looks like this place has been almost scrubbed clean. There is not even trash, oil stains, debris, nothing in this alley.
I think this is a dead end. Not to be funny.
I think it's suspicious.
Are there any vines on the wall? Any
Nothing.
cracks in the stone of the wall?
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
Hmm.
Are there buildings that are closer to it on the sides, like roofs, that maybe lead? We could get up on roofs that are adjacent to this building.
Both tower buildings are walls up each other's sides. So this side, for most of the first 10 floors, there's no windows, and then after that, the windows start to go again. And then the building on the other side is same thing. It's just wall to wall basically in this alley. There's not even clothing lines. There's nothing in this alley. It is literally a scrubbed clean pathway.
Are they so rich that they have these things wiped down? I don't understand.
Trying to figure out if there's any way we could get in there. Unless we use the building next door. I think we would have to maybe go from inside the penthouse. I don't know if we even could do that.
We have that other place to look too about the murder.
I guess so.
A really high drop. I'm really surprised that there's no blood or anything down here.
Somebody cleaned all of this. This is suspicious. Somebody is trying to get rid of evidence.
Well, we can go to the next place or see the coroner.
Or both.
Or both. You know, we don't have to meet up with Quo until the end of the day, and also we should probably find a place to stay.
Yeah. Well, we could always go back to the Merryweather, but we're kind of running out of money if we don't get paid for something soon.
I know.
So where should we head? The coroner or to the funeral home? Right, Trey?
Hmm?
Okay.
Is one closer or on our way back to the hotel than the other?
Well, I can't really say that. You would have to figure that out.
Do any of you guys know where either of those are? Wait, I'm from Loxton. Do I know where either of them are?
I don't even think you've gotten the name of the funeral home yet.
Yeah. And I might know where the cemetery is.
Mm-hmm. You would know where the St. Grim Cathedral and Cemetery is.
Should we ask the church? Maybe they have records of where they came from, like the body. They have to have records of the body shipping to the church.
They must. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
And if not, then we can ask Vivianne. She was there singing, so we're just like, hey, were you singing at the funeral home? Which one is it? Might not be till tonight, though, but at least I have something.
Okay. Well, St. Grim's is this way.
All right.
Alright, so you guys head down the streets and kind of taking in the afternoon sun of Loxton, which doesn't get it a lot. It's definitely a nice change of pace from the rainy, dreary, fog-covered streets that you were just in the night before. And eventually, you cross pass by the Sherwood Forest Park, this beautiful green kind of central park in the middle of the city. And eventually you come across this gorgeous looking Gothic cathedral and cemetery. These huge oak doors and a stained glass kind of circular window above the doors. And in the old script, you can see St. Grim Memorial Cathedral and Cemetery. Over its doors, 2 lanterns kind of light either side of this cathedral as well.
Bailey's apartment is right by that park, isn't it? Can she see her apartment, like, as they were walking there?
Yeah, the old brownstone apartments are still there.
I want to look up at the window of the apartment where I used to live and just see, like, can I see anything? Does it look like someone new lives there? Is it still empty?
All you see are 2 white curtains in the window.
Trying to say anything.
You guys head in?
Wide-eyed and giddy, and she's already going up the stairs.
Sure. So when you guys enter the cathedral, almost an immediate kind of sense of solemn and solitude of the church, very quiet, very low tones. A hymn plays in the background, just echoing throughout the cathedral. As you go down kind of the pews and these arched columns, and at the end you finally see this beautiful window, and in the center of it there is a hanging statue of a hooded figure, almost looking like the Grim Reaper, which is a symbol of Grim.
Thal is hiding behind Lucan again.
Meryl runs up to the statue and kind of looks around real quick and carefully gets down on her knees, and she will pull out the powder puff that she got from Ella's stepmother's castle. And she'll set it down at his feet, and she'll just say a quiet prayer, asking for guidance in this murder mystery, and for Grim to be with us as we venture and protect us, or to bring us into his embrace should that time come.
You will get a +2 to religion for the next 24 hours.
Oh.
So as she does this, a woman in black robes and a gold-looking necklace, she approaches and puts her hand on Meryl's shoulder. She says, "Well, hello, sister. Praise be to Grim."
Praise be, hello. It's feels good to be home in a way, though I am far from where I grew up.
You must be on your pilgrimage.
That I am. It's proving to be confusing, and maybe a little bit more difficult than I had originally thought it would be, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm even making friends along the way, surprisingly.
Good. Are those your guardians?
These are my friends, not quite my guardians, you could say. I don't really have any, although we do protect each other. So,
As long as you trust them, child. The path can be very difficult, and it is important to keep your friends at your side. But here, let me look at you. And she, helps her stand up. She's, I know exactly where you're from. The Belladonna tribe. Ornaltus, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. How could you tell?
Well, the clothes you wear, first. They have a very interesting nomadic look to them. She goes over to one of the altars and picks up a beaded necklace, and she says, "Here, for your journey from Loxton.
Thank
May
you.
Grim guide you."
Meryl will clutch it for a moment before slipping it over her, or pulling her hair out and all that.
So, we must be the first temple you've arrived at.
Yes, the journey has been strange, so it feels good to be back in step with what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Do you have any guidance for me, by any chance?
Absolutely. I can help you. But first, we do have a prayer that I would like to join you with. We have it set up actually down in the antechambers. Unfortunately, since your friends are not your guardians, I cannot let them pass through. But I would absolutely love to help you.
Yes, absolutely. Let me just hold 1 second. She'll run up
Sure.
real quick. I'll be right back, you guys. This is kind of part of what I do, so feel free to relax and maybe say some prayers if you feel so inclined, and make yourselves at home. And then she'll turn around and run off.
Should one of us go with her?
I don't know. I hope that she remembers to ask the questions we need.
Oh, Meryl has forgotten.
Well, I hope she's safe.
Maybe there's someone here that could help. I mean, it would have to be safe. This is a well-known church around, this part. I mean, it's not who I believe in, but I respect it and understand it and what it needs to be a part of this world. I'm gonna go look around.
I don't know much of anything about this place, but I guess just do what Meryl said and make ourselves comfortable.
Yeah, hopefully find somebody else in here.
I'm sure there has to be more people in here. I just don't understand why you would worship death. I'm someone who really focuses on the life. She mumbles as she's like looking at like the statues, and I'm thinking there's murals around and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Bailey will sit. Are there like pews, kind of?
Mm-hmm.
She'll sit, and are there little like those little like pocketbooks of like hymns and prayers? Is there anything like that? She'll steal one.
Roll sleight of hand.
Yeah, she'll slip it into her. She'll open it up and like read through it for a second, and then slip it under her coat.
Sure.
I rolled a 19. I think my modifier's 5.
Okay, sure.
It's like but I rolled a 19.
Okay. Yeah, no one sees you do this.
24. So yeah, she'll take a little prayer book.
Anybody else want? What are we doing? Before I get to Meryl.
Elowen looks around to see if there is any other sisters.
Sure. So as you're kind of like going around, you see that their numbers are scarce. But there is one who is praying to one of the shrines of Grim in a seated, like, kneeling position that you see is kind of the only other person inside here.
And she will respectfully wait for her to finish.
Sure. So eventually a couple moments pass, and then she does finally give up from her kneel, her prayer. She does a hand motion before bowing in front of Grim, and she turns around and she says, "Oh, well, hello."
Hi, I was wondering if you might be able to help us.
Oh, as we are children of Grim, we will finally and one day return to his embrace. What can I help you with, child?
Well, we know of someone who has passed, and her name was Tiffany, and we were wondering if you happen to know what funeral home did her services so we could donate to the funeral home on her behalf.
Yes. The Greenwich Funeral Home, not too far from here.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Have you come to join?
Period.
I sense a great power deep within you, child. Grim has touched you in ways that he has not most. Oh no.
Rose, I'm back. Grim has touched me? That's where it stopped.
Yes. I sense something horrible and tragic when you were younger. And it will repeat itself in full moons.
Okay. Well, thank you for that information. I truly appreciate it. I currently, Cynthia is my god, and my dear friend is a follower of Grim, and I'm just curious and want to respect her more by learning the knowledge of Grim.
Absolutely, child. Cynthia, a creature of life and birth, the forest, and everything in between. Cynthia and Grim are two opposites of each other. One gives life, the other one brings in death.
But yes, they are opposites, but they both have beauty and devastation to them.
You are quite correct, child.
But thank you so much for your help. I have some other friends around here. We're waiting for our friend Meryl. She's. We overheard her to wait here for her if that is okay.
Yes, you can wait here, child of Cynthia.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else want to do anything?
Vaz is probably just making nonsense bubbles and looking at things she shouldn't be. Just curious.
I'll just
Yep.
read my new book.
Lucan?
Wandering around, like, just kind of like looking, not really doing anything.
Sure. Okay. Down into the antechambers of the cathedral, Meryl is taken by one of the sisters of the church. It's a small antechamber where there are a couple other sisters here, all in their robes. There are just like rows and rows of candles, all in a line, like in almost like bleachers of candles. And there is a small like water flow around them. Incense clings to the air, and as a hymn, is soft and low. Um, the sister takes Beryl over, and she says, "You are destined to do great things. I knew it from the moment you walked into our church. Your pilgrimage might just be beginning, but I can tell you, the end of your journey is going to be hard, tough, and quite honestly, I do see you becoming a very powerful being within the church. It is important to remember that life comes with death, and just as death happens, reincarnation begins. I'm sure you know this from your scriptures. But it is important to remember to hold on to life, especially those that you have brought with you, dear to you. For shall they perish, bad things will happen. Now, we will pray for a few moments. Make sure to let in the embodiment of Grim and the Fae that comes before him, and think of exactly what you want to speak with him with, and what you want of him. For his presence is here. And she bows and goes down into the praying position around Meryl.
I will also assume prayer position Oh. Meryl nervously racking her brain for something to ask. Graham?
Meryl or Jeffrey?
Both.
You go down to pray, and almost immediately you are taken into this spiritual kind of place in your mind. Rolling clouds of storm and thunder, and this black starry sky kind of appears around you. And from the storm clouds, a figure appears, larger than life. We're talking Palpatine levels in Force Awakens. And his hooded cloak, and he looks at you and says, "My child, you have come here today to prove yourself on your pilgrimage. Yes?
Yes.
You will be granted your next amulet from this temple today. I can sense it within you. You have been touched by the Guardian of Everas. This has been unseen for thousands of years in our church. There was one before you, long, long ago, by the name of Lunis. He traversed the realms and gathered the runes, and he helped seal in the darkness a very long time ago. That very darkness that Eliot Spellman had once sealed away. The one who has touched you. My child, this is your chance to speak with me and ask for guidance, for I will help you on your pilgrimage, as long as you still remain loyal and visit the temples as such from your scriptures.
Always. I always.
Now, Meryl, what can I do for you?
I don't... What haven't you done? But I guess, at the forefront of my mind, I tried to reach out recently to a spirit that had been taken, and there was a sort of backlash, almost like I was taken somewhere else. And in that space, I had not much power and was at its mercy. And while I know that I still have a long ways to go, I also feel like I'll be traversing that space again soon. And I guess I'd like to be a little more well-equipped, whether it's knowledge or advice, anything really, to help me.
Yes,
understand it.
I remember this. You have the power of seeing echoes, places of existence where spirits have gone to traverse before they have drifted on or they have been sent. Not many come before you with that special gift. It is a gift that you have to help you on your pilgrimage and save Everas from certain doom. You will need to choose your guardians well, for they will be your protection within this world. I assume that you were hurt when you went in, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Your next time you go in, you must be at the center of your guardians, holding hands. For if you break this circle, that damage will come to you. Every minute you spend in that plane, horrible, nasty spirits will try to penetrate your mind and leave you as a prisoner in that realm. You were lucky enough to be able to get out of it, if you will. But next time you journey in, your friends, your guardians, will need to protect you from them. Do not break that circle.
Okay. Thank you. She'll bow her head.
Yes, my child. For your time here is now done. I can offer you no more knowledge than you already have. But the next temple, I hope to see you again. Goodbye, Meryl of the Belladonna tribe.
Goodbye.
And immediately, the clouds dissipate as you see this sunrise off in the distance and reach its peak, and a bright light of warmth envelops you and you come back to the antechamber in the room.
Thank you, sisters, for guiding me. This was incredible, and I know what I need to do now.
Good. I'm so very happy for you, child. Now, the amulet as promised for your journey to Loxton's temple. And she turns from the altar, and you see like a little jewel. It's a gray jewel that clips onto the necklace that she had given you before. There are more temples for you to join, and for you to pray at to earn the rest of your jewels. Good luck, child of Grim.
Thank you. If I find myself here again, I'll come and visit.
We will be here for you, and may Grim welcome you in his embrace when the time comes.
Mm-hmm. You as well. She'll hop to her feet and trot off back to her friends.
So you regain back up to your friends, who are all just kind of milling about the church, if you will. And you kind of come up. It's only been about a half an hour or so since you were gone.
Well, what do you guys think?
Thal rolls over because she was on her back swimming. She's like, yeah, it's big. But yeah.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Nice. Yeah, it's nice. How'd it go down there?
Fantastic. I got my first, well, it's the first step in my journey, and this is the first temple I've been to, so I guess you could say I'm officially started now, in a way.
Well, that's great. What are you doing again? Like,
So
why?
I go to each of these temples and I pray, and I fill my amulet, and each time that I pray at one, Grim visits me and gives me guidance and helps me on my journey.
So were you able to get some good answers?
Yes, I know what it is I have to do that will help us, I think, in our journeys. We should have a conversation, maybe over dinner tonight or something. I have a favor to ask all of you, and it's kind of a big one. I actually hadn't. I kind of forgot as I got swept up in everything that we've been doing, and there was a part of my pilgrimage that I kind of left hanging, and well, I think that I found a way to tie up loose ends. So.
Well, that's great. Tie
I
all
think
those
so.
knots.
Really,
So-
really impressive here. I had no idea, being, from the forest like you are, that there's places like this. And it really opened my eyes to see that there is such beauty in death and the role it plays into where'd I stop?
The beauty that it brings.
The beauty that it brings to the next step of that soul's life, which is, what I focus on. So, I don't know. I'll let you know that.
Thank you, Elowen. While our gods are opposites, they work in tandem. And it's necessary, The beauty that your god brings to this world is all around us, and it's us, and it's what we do. And that beauty deserves to continue to live on even after its life here is faded, and Grim helps to make sure that that beauty remains. So,
That's
I'm
very
happy
well
you
put.
guys are here to do this with me.
As you guys are all kind of talking, from one of the doors inside the cathedral opens up, and it's this hunched over elf woman in these large flowing gowns, Meryl, you notice that this is what a priestess would wear, kind of the head honcho of the church, as she like brings her cane, her cane, but it's also a staff, and she like walks forward over to the altar, but she has her back facing to you, but she stops, and then she slowly turns around, and she points in your direction, and like makes a come here motion.
Oh, can I tell if it's like a general come here for all of us, or for just me?
She looks to be pointing in your direction.
Oh,
Go ahead.
that's
Go.
yeah. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. We'll leave soon, and I'll trot over.
She turns and she like lowers her collar. And even though she's an elf, she's still like hunched over, you know, old like an older woman, and she like grabs Meryl's face and like turns it and like looks at it, and then she looks back over at the party and looks back at you and says, "You have your father's eyes."
My father's? You know my father?
Miscreant within the church. Yes, I know him well.
Miscreant.
Yes.
I always heard he was a bit of a hero. Did he not fulfill his pilgrimage?
He ended it
Did it?
before the end.
Do you know where he is? That seems a silly question.
She looks back over to the party and points in your guys' direction again and says,
But
And then
you-
she follows to Meryl's side.
just the
I'll follow.
half-orc.
Okay, good.
She grabs Elowen's face and like turns it and looks at it. She looks back to Meryl. Then she looks back to Elowen and says, "The bond between you is immense." And for the first time, you guys both kind of like look at each other and notice that you guys have the same colored eyes.
Oh.
And then the woman, she looks down at her cane and then she goes, "Be gone."
Thank you, priestess, and she'll give a little bow. Or I guess it would be a curtsy.
She nods her head back to you, but she doesn't like bow to you, but she
Mhm.
nods her head.
Looks at Meryl. She's like, "What did she mean?"
Do you guys leave the cathedral before saying that, or like in the cathedral?
In the cathedral, Elowen's just like, "What happened?"
I'm not sure, and I'll put my arm around her shoulder and I'll kind of pull her back to the group. I don't know. Maybe because of the gods that we follow? Or that we're... Oh god. Keepers? I don't...
Maybe. I mean, we are
Hmm.
opposites.
Huh. She said something weird about my father, too.
Your father?
Yes, lots to think about. I guess we could talk about it over dinner tonight. But we've been here for quite some time, and I'm sure that Lucan and people want to get moving.
We'll talk about this more later, okay?
Of course, yeah.
So you guys head out back onto the streets of Loxton, kind of exiting the cathedral and taking back in the kind of warm air for kind of early fall, late summer type of feel. And you finally get like far enough away from the cathedral to kind of stop and talk amongst yourselves.
So did we figure out where the funeral home was?
It's the Greenwich funeral home.
Yeah, Bailey was listening.
Okay, well that's good. I hope this is the same one that Vivian did sing at, because if there's multiple churches and multiple graveyards and multiple funeral homes, that's a problem.
Well, we don't know until we go look.
To the funeral home?
didn't exactly get directions, I'm sorry.
Bailey knows where this is.
I think I know. It's been a
It's
while
not
since
far.
Yeah, I've never been in there, but I've certainly walked by it. I think it's on the other side of the square. And she'll start leading them towards it.
So you pass by, walking down the streets, and eventually come to this like Victorian parlor kind of house, in the more of the townhomes of the uh, city, and you see the Greenwich Funeral Home sign hanging above the door. If I can say one more time. However, there is a closed sign hanging on the knob of the front door of this almost deathly silent home, but the door is slightly ajar, and you can hear someone working on the inside. The house almost seems to creak and whisper as you approach its doors.
Okay, well, this is a scary thought. I thought this would be somewhat cheerier for some reason. I don't know what a funeral home is.
Well, it's
Where
where
they-
they.
Yeah.
You know, Meryl, actually, I think you'd be better to answer this one.
It's where they take the bodies so that the family can view them before they're buried. It sounds sad, but if you think about it, family and friends and loved ones gather together around the one who has passed to hopefully reminisce about one's life and share memories and mourn together, and then bury the body.
Quite. Alright. So
Now,
why
what do
is
you
it
guys
spooky here?
do? Well, I think that death kind of has a natural tinge of spookiness to it. You know, people fear what they don't know. So,
Head on in.
Knock first, I think, and then politely say
kick open
hello.
the door.
When you knock on the door, the door like opens more, from it being slightly ajar. Um, when you like inside, you can see the portrait of yesterday's dearly departed on the floor of the foyer. It's a teenager. There seems to be some type of struggle that happened here, and there's shattered glass from the broken picture frame hasn't even been swept up yet. Elowen, can you roll a perception check on that portrait for me?
So hold on 1 second, because I think my cat stole my d20. There it is. Okay.
What is it?
10.
For a brief moment, the portrait looks like your friend Talib.
Because for that brief moment it did look like that, can I go and inspect it?
Yeah. It's a portrait of a teenager, human.
Okay.
Similar looks to Talib, brown shaggy hair, pale skin, that type of thing. But yeah, it looks like there was some type of struggle and this picture had fallen and there's broken glass around it and hasn't even been swept up yet.
Guys, do you think something's going on right now? Should we go see if someone needs help?
Something happened.
Like it.
Bailey will look around to see if there's any person, or listen to hear if she can hear the direction, because I know you said it sounded like someone was inside.
Yes, there. You could hear that in the other room adjacent to this hallway. There's someone in there.
We should hurry. What if they're the next victim?
Maybe we should look and see who it is first. What if we overhear something? Maybe we should be quiet. Can I take us a couple steps towards the door and just try to eavesdrop?
Sure. You kind of it's a doorway. There's no door in between these two adjacent rooms. But when you kind of peek inside, you can see that someone seems to be cleaning up kind of a messy looking funeral parlor.
Are they saying anything?
No.
Shh. She'll lightly knock on the door frame.
It almost spooks the woman. She turns around and it's a dragonborn. Um, and she kind of like turns her head. She goes, "Oh, I am so deeply sorry. I didn't hear you come in. We're closed for the day."
Is everything okay?
Well, if I'm being honest, no. It is not okay here. Someone has obviously died, and someone died after that. This person came in and was shouting at the funeral that we were having here, and he was hooded, and he looked. I thought he was a child at first, but he was bald. We were having a funeral for the dearly departed teenager. Horrible circumstances, and his father, well, he collapsed and died. Heart failure.
Into the child.
An
How did-
illness.
The man wouldn't happen to be Mr. Fox, would it?
No, it was not. His name was Mr. Walsh.
Mr.
His,
Walsh.
his son Teddy is the one who died of an illness. Those poor souls, the family lost their mother years ago, and Adam had two daughters. They're, I believe, staying with relatives at this time. He was absolutely devastated by the death of his son.
If you don't mind me asking, what was that hooded man?
But Ash,
Okay, I thought you were let her speak. If you don't mind me asking, can can you tell us what that man was shouting exactly?
no, the man, he didn't speak. The man in the hoodie, Vivianne Dupree was performing for the funeral, and she shouted, "It's the killer!" And the people in the room pursued him out of the funeral home, and some of them got physical with the man, but he got away. And then moments later is when we found Mr. Walsh dead in the bathroom.
Curious. Vivianne Dupree again.
Yes, she's a dear friend of mine. I'd asked her to perform for him.
This isn't the first occurrence of a death here, right?
Well, my dear, this is a funeral home.
Yeah. I come to gather that's what happens here. But I mean, like, a person who was alive coming in and then dead again.
No, this was the first. We've been hearing rumors of some type of hooded murderer, killer. So we all kind of freaked out when Vivianne said it was the killer.
Do you know who the people were that got physical with him that might have gotten a better look at him?
Unfortunately, I don't know any of the attendees.
Do you have a guest book?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Are you alright?
Anybody see where he went?
He ran out the front. Some of the attendees, they described him as smelling of like grease and burnt chemicals.
How strange. I'm sorry we are asking all these questions. We are actually detectives looking into how many recent heart attacks there have been.
Oh,
And that's all we mean to ask questions to figure out what's going on.
I understand. It's okay. I'll be as helpful as I can.
What's
You.
your name?
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Well, you said that Mr. Walsh was found dead in the bathroom.
Yes,
Do you mind if I go take a look?
of course. You won't find anything, but absolutely. It's just down the hall.
That will
Bailey
follow
will-
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey will look and see if anyone wants to come with her, and she's gonna go open the door to the bathroom and look for anything. She's gonna look very thoroughly around, look for like fingerprints or smudges or footprints or
Vials.
anything. Yeah, she'll check the drains. Like she's gonna sweep the bathroom.
Roll an investigation check.
Both of us or just her? Or do you want her advantage because of
You can
helping?
you can do advantage since you're helping.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 3 first, so thank you for your help. And guys, good lord, a 2.
Oh no!
Question.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
have
a
inspiration.
6.
Okay. What do you
May I
want to use it?
use-
Oh, inspiration only lasts one session. You have to use it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Sad. Okay, never mind.
Okay, well,
Goodbye, inspiration.
with my 3, which I got with my advantage,
It
uh,
seems to be a
it's a 9 with my modifier, but I rolled.
yeah. It seems to be a one-stall bathroom, toilet, a sink, mirror. It's pretty clean for the standard of most bathrooms, but there doesn't seem to be like any smudges or anything like that.
No vials in the drain.
There are no vials in the drain either. When you turn on the sink, it runs normally. You flush the toilet, runs normally.
I'll look at Thal.
Was the
Okay.
best bet.
I don't understand how there are no clues. How can there be multiple deaths, all with the same cause, all with the same suspect, all at the same person's show, and nowhere we look has any trace of a struggle or a getaway? Doesn't make sense.
There has to be somebody inside helping. But we do have a little bit of a clue. They said that he smelled like grease and burnt chemicals. So, and that chemical in the vial maybe has something to do with where he works. I wonder if there's like a place that smells like that in the city somewhere. Do
Right.
you know of a place that smells chemically burnt?
Let me think. I mean, I'm gonna think, is there
the,
like a factory?
the
Or...
only thing that you could think of is like Factory Row down near the harbor would be the only place that would be like very industrial or anything like that.
You know, by the harbor, it kind of smells. There's like a lot of factories. It's the more industrial part of the city. I've tried to avoid it because, you know, if you're out on a walk on a beautiful day, it smells like industry. Maybe we should walk down there.
I don't know what a factory is, but that sounds great. Should we
Okay,
tell
so
Quo first, and maybe he knows exactly
have
where
you
we
ever
should head?
been swimming and you come across like a drain pipe that dumps a whole bunch of gross stuff into the water?
Not till recently, no.
Usually that comes from factories. Factories are where they make energy and products, and it creates a lot of waste and a lot of chemical residue. It smells pretty bad, and they pollute the land. That's the only thing that comes to mind as far as grease and chemical smell.
We should tear down those walls. That's awful.
Well, you need energy and products to live, but yeah, it's pretty gross.
I've never needed those things to live.
We don't all have gills.
True.
Well, come on. I don't think we're gonna find anything in here unless you want to look around.
I don't think I can. Because I've helped you.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
Roll wise. Okay, back to the others.
You three, you guys want to do anything while they were in the bathroom?
So, do you think anybody else saw anything else? We're just trying to get more witnesses of, this man. We're trying to track him down. Do
I
you have
understand. Everything that I've told you is everything that we all know.
Okay. Thank you.
I wish there was more I could help you with.
We're just trying to bring him to justice to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I understand. I mean, it does drive up business death, but also it's horrible when it happens to someone you know.
Yeah.
Well, if I can't offer any more assistance, you all have a wonderful day.
You too. Sorry for interrupting you, and hopefully you have a much better rest of your day.
Thank you.
Actually, I did want to just ask you, um, who is the coroner who works with you?
We have multiple coroners with the city. Too many to count, honestly.
You have some sort of record or paperwork, right? Are you able to help us find the coroner from a certain case?
Unfortunately, I can't. It's confidentiality I have with our client and us. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I cannot procure this for you. I do wish I could help, but I also do not want to get in trouble with the law.
We understand. We have another detective with us. Maybe he can help us. Thank you.
The only thing that okay, listen. The only thing that I can tell you about the coroner report on Mr. Walsh was that he died of a heart failure. The people are saying it because of the sheer excitement of everything that happened, his son passing and a killer interrupting the ceremony. Maybe it just got to him. He was quite an old man.
Didn't you say that this just happened today?
No, it was last night.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's still awfully quick to get a coroner report, but
It happened.
nurse is showing.
Yeah. This is fantasy.
Magic.
Like,
anyway. Okay.
Well, I wonder if Ko knows about this murder. Since, you know.
it was in today's paper. You all did see it. That's how you knew about the funeral. And
Oh, I
Quill
thought that was like
mentioned
the other day.
it. Quill
Okay.
mentioned it, yeah.
Right,
At least I thought he did.
maybe.
It's been a
I've
couple
slept
weeks.
since then. Yeah. But thank you again. And she slips out the door.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Follows.
Bailey,
While
Absolutely.
we're walking, Meryl would just like to make sure that she has her notes correct. We know of 3 murders, or we know of 4?
3.
3.
There was
Darnell
the
Fox, Tiffany
yes.
Barncroft, and Mr. Wash.
Walsh.
And Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, WALSH. Sorry.
No. Mr. Walsh's son died of other means not
Yeah,
connected to this,
correct.
so it just got you.
And then everything, I feel like Vivian's almost at every single place that this
She is.
happens.
Or she's at
Vivian.
least connected in some way. I don't know if she was at the manor when Tiffany was killed, but she was connected. They had just seen her.
There's also the ticket for her upcoming show.
You didn't happen to catch what night that was, did you?
Thal.
It's just sometime next week.
Sometime next week?
And only 1 ticket, not 2. So who knows when it was bought, but it was definitely just 1. So
Somebody played the piano since Tiffany died, unless I'm getting my time frames confused. Which means whoever played that piano would have had to place the ticket there.
They heard the piano on the night Tiffany died.
But
It wasn't specified if it was before or after.
No. He just a couple nights ago is what the tiefling said.
Well, either it was Tiffany or somebody else, but whoever was at the piano.
what's his face? The husband said that she didn't even play piano. It was just for decorative purposes.
I really
Neither of them played.
wish
Or
we
he
had
just-
had more time to ask questions.
I wonder if we can see that tiefling.
You know, maybe we should. What did he say his name was?
He didn't.
He didn't.
he didn't, but the bellhop did.
I thought the bellhop said his name.
He did. The bellhop did, but he didn't say his name.
Mr. Duval.
Mr. Duval.
What time is it?
It's nearing like evening.
Do you think that we should go talk with Quos, discuss what we found, and then maybe he found something?
Yeah.
Before we start, running around the city asking every single person.
He has the coroner report, so we could see who signed off on it. That's a heading.
Almost as if you guys are all talking, you're startled by someone running up the street towards you. You see that it is Quo. and he's out of breath as he stops in front of you. He said, "Oh, it's been hard trying to find you all, but the killer got to her. He jumped Vivianne Dupree. She made it out somehow, but she's roughed up. We've got to go meet her."
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Okay.
Lead the way. Take a deep breath first, though.
I need a carriage. Excuse me, taxi. And a carriage rolls by. You all get into the carriage, and he tells the driver, "Velvet Leash, please, quickly." And you all start going off the carriage towards the Velvet Leash. Well, he sits down and he's like, "Yeah, I had gone by the office and Nathaniel wasn't there, so I thought I'd do a little bit of cleaning, but Lucifer dropped by, said that he needed help. The killer had somehow gotten into the Velvet Leash and attacked Vivianne. He's there now, so we're going to meet him up with him."
Okay.
That
Did you
sounds
guys find anything?
lots of things.
Some stuff.
Go on.
Well, Mr. Walsh, the person at the funeral home that died, also died of heart failure, so there's all the connections right there. And the killer smelled like grease and burnt chemicals.
It
And
must be down
Bald.
bald. That's what everyone's saying the suspect's description is matching up with. So our killer is bald, possibly works down at the factories down near the harbour. Good work, everyone.
Well, if he attacked Vivianne, then were all the other victims just because he didn't make it to Vivianne in that moment?
Why wouldn't he
maybe.
kill Vivianne the exact same way that he's gotten away with all of these other murders?
Well, Vivianne was a witness to one of his other murders with Mr. Fox, was he not? Was she not?
Right.
She also
Walsh.
recognized him too. So,
Exactly. So he's probably trying to tie up loose ends.
Right, but I mean, why would he physically beat her? Why not just poison her or whatever, cause some sort of random heart failure? Why not use the same method? Now
Probably said
there's a loose end.
it's definitely possible. Maybe he tried to, and she caught on to it and tried to stop him before he did whatever he needed to do.
Or it's a cover up. We won't know until we get there.
hmm.
All right. So the carriage arrives at the Velvet Leash, where Lucifer is waiting by in the alley. It's this very strapping gentleman, black suit, red tie, a fade, just dark, swollen eyes, and he pulls you all here. "I've just managed to get the rest of them. Is everything okay?" And Lucifer, he says, "She's fine, but she's drinking about half a bottle. Come on." And he leads you all into the back entrance of the Velvet Leash and up to her dressing room. Let me give it this. I'll wait for Bailey or Liz to get back.
I'm so excited for Lucifer.
All right.
I want to know where Lucifer's daughter is.
I'm ready. All right. There's that. Liz is back. Perfect. Okay. So, you arrive into her dressing room. Vivianne is sitting um, uh, on her lounge chair as some paramedics, some healers are like bandaging up her wounds and things like that. As you all enter, the paramedic stands up and he says, "We're gonna have to take her down to the hospital. I'm sorry, guys. need to get her to make sure that she's okay. And Lucifer looks him in the eyes and says, "You will leave and give us 10 minutes." And immediately the healer goes, "I will leave and give you 10 minutes." And the healer exits the room. Um, Immediately the smell of like wine and alcohol just kind of envelops over the room, as you see her like covered up in a blanket, um, and Quill like looks at you guys like, "I'll let you have this one."
Right. Did you get a good look at the killer this time? Like his face.
Oh, darling, it was such a he came into my room. It was strange. He didn't say anything, but I knew he was coming after me. It was just, this assault is just awful. I know he was trying to. Oh, I'm trying to recall all the events, but it's just been so terrible. Can I trust you?
With your life.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Oh, such adoring fans you all are. I only survived because I was able to resist his magic. He was using something dark, something terrible against me. It was strange, he didn't utter one sound, but I saw it. His hands were glowing with black smoke and sludge, but I managed to fend him off. He has some type of personal interest in me, I suppose. As you can see, he broke into my dressing room and, oh, it's just so terrible.
Did this black
Bailey, or I'm sorry, Meryl, roll a perception check. Thal, go ahead.
did this black sludge by chance touch you? Is that what harmed you?
No, I threw one of my bottles at him first, and see, you can still see his blood on the wall over there, and the debris of my bottle. Oh, it was my favorite vintage. However will I get it back? Brandy is so hard to come by in these parts.
It's an 18 total.
This place has the same swampy feeling as the other places, the crime scenes that you have seen. But with that 18, the source seems to be from Vivianne and not the killer.
Does she look
you-
cut up, like beaten
No.
up or anything?
No, she doesn't. But just from the kind of room of dead flowers and alcohol, it's a cramped, almost a converted storage room. And it was probably the only way that Lucifer was able to satisfy this diva's demands. The walls are lined with like newspaper cutouts and posters of her from her glorious past. The title Loxton's Most Soulful Voice seems to stick out a lot for you. Under the vanity, there's a bin of dozens of small little liquor bottles. The poor soul was just starting to pull her life together. Now this.
Oh no.
Sam,
Yes.
you said you threw a bottle at him. What happened? Did he... obviously there was blood, but did he just run away? He didn't try anything else?
No, some of the crewmen, you could hear them running down the halls for him, and he escaped just in the nick of time.
How do you escape?
By running. How else would you escape?
If he had magic, I was just wondering. I'm sorry.
No, when I say he was running, he was running.
Sorry.
Oh no.
I love her.
Sarcasm was absolutely nailed, and I loved every second of it. Sorry.
Really, I know, I feel bad because, like, it's me
No,
saying
I
that to you,
loved
I
it.
feel like it's Vivianne, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so you threw your favorite liquor bottle at him. I gathered that. You weren't drinking beforehand?
Oh, of course, I drink every day, darling.
What, the same thing? Or was it something cheaper, not your favorite?
It was the first thing I grabbed. I was being almost killed. What would
I
you
know.
have done?
I don't know, maybe choke him?
My poor brittle hands. I just got a manicure too. Of course I couldn't have done that. He had this black sludge coming out of his hands. I didn't want to touch him.
Black sludge. Was it drippy?
It was some type of magic, I suppose, the way he's killed everyone else. I don't want to suffer from a heart attack. I may be 60, but I'm not ready to die just yet. Oh, you guys are not as nice as I once thought you all were. Lucifer, please, will you... And Lucifer looks at Vivianne and is like, calm down.
Bailey,
Do not try to rile her up.
It was not our intention. We simply like to know. Would you mind if I did a bit of a scan of the room? It's will help us with maybe tracking this individual.
Oh.
No harm will come to either of you.
You've got about 2 minutes before the paramedics come back in.
All right, give me just one moment. I'm going to stand off in a corner and I'm going to make it look like I'm doing something like magically helpful, but I'm going to cast Eyes of the Grave and see if there are any undead within the area.
The entire place seems to glow with undead, specifically Lucifer, and a lot of other bodies within the club.
Vivianne as well?
No, not Vivianne.
Okay, she was the main target. Meryl lets out a little, huh? And then, like, her eyes were all black, and then they go back to normal, and she'll just kind of, like, saddle up next to Elowen.
So what did you find?
Unfortunately, just like the rest of the places that we've gone, not very much. He seems very good at escaping.
Why are you lying to me?
Oh, fuck me. Meryl says that out loud.
Do you not know who I am?
I unfortunately don't. I'm a follower of Grim. I tend to like to do scans of places to see if there are any undead who may need my help. It seems like there are none who need my help here, though, and she's kind of like backing up just slowly.
Well, you definitely walked into a den of vampires, if that's what you're worried about.
Yes, sorry.
You don't have to worry. I've got them under my control.
Okay.
Well, kind of like looks at you guys and he's like, so this is Lucifer De'mon, one of the most powerful vampires actually in the entire existence of Everas. He's a higher vampire, so try not to do anything out of the ordinary. He can see right through you.
Oh, that's weird. I am not invisible at all right now, but we did want to speak with you, not because of murders. We actually wanted to do the murders case to talk to you.
I don't have time to talk to mortals right now.
Yeah,
There's a knock at the door. And the paramedic comes in. He says, okay, I've given you your 10 minutes. Come on, Vivianne. And you see him lift his hand as she kind of like hovers in the air, and this gurney like magically materializes underneath of her as she starts to flow away. And before she like exits the door, she like looks back at you all and says, please, find him and get rid of him. For Vivianne's sake. And they disappear beyond the hallway.
A trip.
She's a handful. How do you keep that one happy?
Well, alcohol and lots of it. Anyways, I have a lot more to do. Good day. And he and Lucifer leaves the room in an abrupt fashion.
Fuck.
And Quill goes, good old Lucy.
Oh, you know him.
That I do. If he would consider us friends, I mean, I would. We definitely fought together a few times in the past 10 years.
Oh.
So, we probably didn't make him mad, right?
No.
Because that's quite scary.
That's just Lucifer. Once you break down all his walls and defenses, he is... No, I was going to say he's a lovable guy, but he isn't. The fangs really make it kind of scary. And the fact that he can compel you to do anything he wants you to is also quite terrifying.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, did you see that paramedic? He just said do something, and it was like, okay.
Vampires are dangerous.
Dominating.
But as long as you're on Lucifer's good side, you have nothing to worry about.
I hope he's staying his good side. He's the whole point over here.
You will know if you're on his bad side because, well, you'll be dead.
She's holding her neck.
So let's keep Lucifer happy by let's scour this room and see if we can find anything. Since he didn't end up killing Miss Pretty Pants. See if we can find any evidence. Because
The
I don't really like her attitude or her answers because I don't know if we can trust her what she says because she was quite drunk.
You're right.
have-
Good eye.
we have
Thank you.
blood on the wall. We could take that for DNA evidence. If that exists in magic.
That
Lucan, over there. That drawer, there's a lock on it. Can you break it open?
Hi, but I feel like Bailey's pretty good at picking them, so.
I'd be able to get it open without breaking anything.
I mean,
course,
does it
like-
matter? They know we're in here. Like, it's not like we're trying to be sneaky. He'll reach over and just, like, give him a nice little pull
Roll a strength check.
on it. Well,
Sometimes
I
it's more
gotta.
fun to make a mess.
Hold on. I got an 18 without my modifier. I don't know what my
fine.
modifier is. It is. I'm curious now. Where is it at? Okay, if it does, I don't even know. Oh, it's 5. Okay.
23.
We can always say it was part of the scuffle. What's in it? So you pull it open. You see among lots of like memorabilia, there is a handwritten note on it, and it says, "I know what you're up to," and then it's signed Evie.
So he's gonna take it and he's gonna hold it for a second,
What do you have?
and then he's gonna turn it around.
Quill takes
Or,
it
like-
from Lucan,
Yeah.
and he scans it over, and he says, "How is that possible? I recognize this handwriting."
Whose is it? Yeah, not so convincingly.
It's Evelyn's. But how?
Who's Evelyn?
She was once the evil queen, as we called her, from Apreville. But this is new. This card is even dated. She was here? How? I need to talk to Nathaniel about this. Thank you, Lucan, I appreciate it. I'm actually going to go check on my husband. It's strange that he's been gone this long.
Do you
And-
have a
I know.
collection kit thing that we can sample the blood for, or is that even worth it?
Oh, you need like a syringe and vial, absolutely. And he pulls out his trench coat, which got like all lots of gadgets and gizmos, and he pulls one out and hands it over to Lucan. If you do manage to get a sample, I'll have Nathaniel test it for you.
Ah,
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. See if this
And-
person's corporeal.
And he nods his head and exits the room, leaving the 6 of you.
So she said that this was that guy's or that thing killer's blood, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he is going to try and get swab it to get the DNA on a swab or something. I don't know.
Sure. So you managed to get a good swab of it and enough to put in the little case for the sample.
Okay. He will seal it all up and tuck it in his bag.
Someone's gonna look at the floor to see if she can find any remnants of the magic. Cause she said it was very gooey. If it left any remnants on the ground that she could collect.
Uh, Ellen Ellen wouldn't have the magical knowledge of this. No.
Okay.
Go ahead. Roll an arcane check.
Okay.
While she's doing that, is there a vanity in here? Is there a
18.
powder puff
Yes.
on said vanity?
There is.
I'm taking it.
All right. You said 18?
Yes.
Okay. So just kind of doing like a check of the room. The only magical remnants that you see is some type of commanding, powerful magic that was used very recently. But you deduce it that it was Lucifer in his compelling of the paramedic.
Can't find any other magic in this room other than what Lucifer must have used.
She said it was dark magic. Isn't dark magic forbidden in Everas?
If something's forbidden, doesn't mean
Pretty.
that someone wouldn't do it. I mean, take Bailey for example. She's willing to, get into rooms and stuff that obviously doesn't say that we should, and we do it anyways.
They're encouraged.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's true. Yeah. I thought maybe you were going somewhere else with that, but no, you're right. As far as the magic goes,
I would not lie about you, Bailey.
no, it's fine. It's fine. You're right. So sometimes you gotta get into places. I'm still thinking about the upper floors of that penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which I disagree about. In the Anchorage, there was no one there. In the Penthouse, there's so many people.
I feel like we should. I know this might be like a personal quest maybe now, but I feel like we need to look into dark magic of some sorts since we keep like seeing it happen. Like, is there a book on dark magic? Is that a thing? I can't read still yet, but I'm gonna try.
I feel like if there was something that was educating about less than couth magics, it would not be openly accessible to the public.
It would
I don't
probably
know
be
anything
something
about it.
Eliot would have.
Can we get into contact with Eliot?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
We would
we
have to go
kept
back to
trying.
the bell tower. Or the clock tower.
So we'll shelve that for when we get back to the tower, I guess.
Abruptly, a large crashing sound happens somewhere inside of the club. I mean, in mass like chaos seems to happen on the other side of the hallway. I mean, this is a deafening crash from the other side.
The
Thal-
hell is that?
Thal gets her spoon out. That doesn't sound great. Is it the killer again?
Let's go.
Well, it's something. Let's go.
So you go to the source of the crash and you see in the middle of the club, the large chandelier has crashed down onto the floor. It's caught fire in the room as you see people trying to escape through the backs of it, and then you see the fire turn black and purple, and the workers that work there, you see them almost like hunched over and cringing and turning and twisting and contorting as their brows grow deep and their eyes glow black, and then their fangs elongate and their talons basically grow from their fingers as these vampires have all just been enraged somehow. And then Lucifer stands at the edge of the stage, and he turns and he looks at you and says, "Help me kill them." And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Oh no!
So, wait, are they the vampires that he had in his employment and like the people around the bar?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
you got it.
I love
It's
this
rude.
song.
Just about to say, what is this?
It's
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
So
I was like, I played this in band. Why can't I recall what it was? Anyway, my bad.
I was
At any
singing it
point-
today.
while we've been roaming around town and doing our thing, it doesn't count as resting, does it? Because Mama's got no spell slots.
Nope.
I've got one.
I
What did
thought we
you
had a
spells
rest
on?
at the
You
hotel.
did
We had a
this
short
morning.
rest.
Yeah, but anything you've done since then?
Well, we had a was
Yeah,
it a short rest or a long
short rest. Long rest is 24 hours. Short rest is
Yeah.
like you going to sleep.
Yeah.
Short
So
rest doesn't renew any of your spell slots, does it?
only my warlock spell slots, and that's only one. So,
I don't know anything about being a warlock.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah. It's when it comes to spell casting, it's not great.
No, it's not great.
You hit
But we have
hard,
great
but like,
cantrips.
oh my god, I have cantrips at the yin yang. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just don't get hurt.
that's
Hey,
hard.
you got Lucifer on your side.
This was such a good episode
That's
for
true.
Meryl. I loved
I
it.
know.
The
I
church
wasn't
scene.
expecting it.
I loved
It was
it.
good.
It was good.
And like the bond between Meryl and Elowen.
I
I know.
know.
Half
I think
siblings
that
is
our-
what I think.
I think
This
the
was a
daddy
good
was
one.
a slut.
Ugh.
The
Daddy was
siblings.
a slut.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to
Yeah.
dive deeper into that. Yeah, no, that was a fun one for Meryl
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
can't wait to I can't wait for them to both fully realize it. Because right now, I think they're thinking that they're just connected by their opposites and how they're balancing each other, not necessarily that they are stepsisters.
Yes, Meryl
Right
sees it as
now?
a religious thing.
Mhm.
I'm creating a tree of all the dead people.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
good.
I don't think
Good.
it's going to be of any use, but I'm at least taking notes.
No, hey.
And I replaced my powder puff, you guys. I'm very happy about it.
It's
Are you gonna give
important.
the next one away to Grim too?
That's what these are for. Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever I go to a place, I'm gonna make a little offering. So, yeah.
First, I
Yeah.
thought powder puff was like a food, and that this is telling how hungry I am right now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Ring two.
Yeah. Oh, Vivianne.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, sus.
do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications?
You said
Yeah,
before.
I'm overly concerned right now, but that's okay.
As you should.
That black stuff you said had no correlation to Dreamless, but it's similar, I feel.
So I will say this: did Elowen find any traces of magic being used?
No?
Yes,
Besides Lucifer?
Yeah.
but she doesn't know for sure if it is. She just deduces that it's
Yeah. But she can tell it wasn't this black sludge. And also, who's to say Vivian's not lying?
Bitch is totally
True.
lying.
She's lying. I
We
think.
haven't even had a chance for like the group to talk yet. They just
Yeah, because we don't know what the whole swamp thingy that's
Yeah.
going on.
swampy.
We have no clue what happened. Yeah.
I was thinking, and this is just like a theory, but so that swamp has come up every time we've been around somebody that was killed. Does that mean that Vivian's time is numbered? Like, is she gonna die of heart failure here in the next couple hours? What if that swamp vibe is
Oh.
like a connection to someone that's been poisoned or, whatever this
Mhm.
is? That was where my
What?
thought went. Like, is there a target on her
Huh?
now?
She didn't get hit by the
No,
magic
I'll
though. Is
get
what
in
it
a second.
sounds
We're about
like.
to be done.
Unless it takes time.
It's
We
in
didn't
the little
detect magic at
slot
the other
thing.
murders
Black,
either.
black.
Mhm.
It's
Just
okay.
a
No, I'll
theory.
fit it, babe.
Just thinking.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
on the
think about
opposite spectrum, what if she is the cause of that swamp? Like she's cursed in some way? Or did she do Meryl's seance thingy and got stuck and what the sisters were talking about, don't get stuck, don't
Yeah,
go too deep.
How good is your Irish folklore and mythology?
Bad.
Not good.
Irish, not great.
Good.
Not great. I can do a lot of Norwegian stuff though.
Well, maybe that might have a play into it.
What if
Okay.
she's using all the deaths as a way to keep herself young and pretty? Because she's 60.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, some people don't age extraordinarily well, but she drinks all the
Right.
time and works in a bar, and I feel like that puts
Absolutely.
wrinkles on your face.
Absolutely.
She really wants to get her fame back, and it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what she could be. I don't know what she wants. What's her motives? What's her what's her story?
Well, like you said about her getting her fame back, and I mean, this makes me think of like, like with Nyx, like what if she make a deal with somebody? Like
Maybe she did.
what if she make a deal with somebody and there's like dirty magic happening because she made some sort of bargain to try to reclaim her career or keep herself eternally young or whatever.
She
'Cause
kept
she
it
Maybe.
readily-
loose, and she was like, "I want to be famous again," and now the fame is coming from a bunch of murders instead of her beautiful angelic voice.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah, I know. Like, that's really
Meddling.
good clues. I mean, you got her
Yeah.
voice, like her crooning, and all the people that have died have felt like very like they've been very emotional people, possibly. I
They also
mean,
all been fans.
yeah, that's
I don't know
definitely
about
true
Mr.
too. And
Welsh is the only one that I'm unsure about, but two of them were, yes.
yeah, I mean,
Either way, she was singing at the funeral. Like he was
right,
in
and
attendance of her performance.
someone listened to her sing, and then she died, and then they die, and
You
I
know,
mean,
like when you make a wish with the djinn, it's not always
Yeah.
what you
Like the
expect
yeah.
it to
monkey
be.
Yeah.
Mythical creatures, exactly. Mythical
Yeah.
creatures, especially like Irish mythical creatures, like that have to do with
I'm
swamps
not.
and
You keep saying
singing.
Irish, and I can't go. I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
Irish.
But I don't
stuff.
want to look
mean,
because that's
who-
gonna
I
ruin.
mean, you
do.
guys can.
I'm
I
going down
know.
the rabbit hole.
Is it Ursula?
I'm literally giving you everything that you can to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm about to Wikipedia for hours.
Everything.
Like Irish
Yeah.
mythology.
Everything that you all need to know. I mean, it's literally almost right in front of your face. Actually, that's the key part of it. It's literally it's been
Ursula?
staring at you all day, pretty much, since the beginning of the session.
Ugh.
I'm gonna
Honestly.
rewatch it. I can't wait to rewatch it.
If you rewatch this and you figure out what's going on, you are going to absolutely hate yourself because for the past 10 minutes, I've literally given you the answer.
You said voice. I just think of Ursula right away.
She's like a
so yeah, don't
siren
worry.
type of thing who like
A
sings and then
siren.
people die and then she eats their souls.
But maybe she doesn't. Does she not know it, or is she framing the guy? And that's why he beat her up because she's framing him.
And that's why he's
Maybe. Or maybe she just can't stop doing the killing because that's just what she innately is. You know what I mean?
Then who's Baldy?
Oh, it's a fairy! I just read your shirt.
Mother-
Read that shirt so
Right.
many
Literally,
times.
I
I've
literally
literally.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I really like that, Banshee.
I know.
Ooh.
And also,
I literally for the past 10 minutes have been like, yeah, like you never know what she
what
could
is
be.
that? I thought you were
Like,
just stretching, or like you're just like rubbing your. I thought you were just being quirky.
Omen of
Nope.
death.
Oh man.
Oh shit, we gotta fight her.
I'm
Difficult
just
guy.
saying that y'all as detectives.
Mm-mm.
What's bad?
We just figured it out. What are you talking
I've
about?
been staring at you the whole time, and I love it.
Meryl deals with the dead, not with finding out why they died. She don't care.
Get this magic shit. She's
Are you
like,
keeping her as a fairy?
Huh?
Are you keeping the banshee like as a fairy, quote unquote?
Banshee is a fae, yeah.
oh shit. Wait, so the Fae can't lie.
The fae, as in like the fairies, can't lie.
But they can
Okay.
speak
There's
through somebody
many
else.
Fae beings as well.
Yeah. Fae, like, so fae is like an umbrella term, but it's also a specific term. So fae encapsulates all magical creatures, but fae also means the fairies, like the actual fairies of Everas. Banshees aren't fairies, but they are fae, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That does. Okay, that clears it up.
Yeah, I know it's kind of confusing when you go
No,
into.
that makes
yeah.
more sense.
I have to
Yeah.
make a note or else I'm gonna forget.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait. I love it. Are we playing next week?
Oh yeah,
Assuming
we
so.
should.
Play
Yeah.
tomorrow. Okay. let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
I have to go to Philadelphia, but I'll be back Sunday night. So Monday
Perfect.
I'll be ready.
Hidden in plain sight. Either that should be the title of this episode, or Vampire of the Opera. Up to you what you choose.
I say hidden in plain sight. Vampire of the Opera next week when we kick some ass.
Yeah.
Or we
Yeah.
shouldn't quit our day jobs.
Oh yeah, that's
We-
true.
One alternative.
I mean, I don't have a day job, so.
Hey, there you go.
I need to listen to more true crime. I do like at work. I'm like, this person was murdered. I was like, wow, how? How'd you solve this? And I'm like,
This-
I don't know how to solve murder now.
This has been a fun mystery, like murder, to go in with. So actually, so this was part of the old like season 5, like when we were gonna do the kind of 80s Everas. So and actually this story was gonna involve Ariel and Ursula.
Oh.
Love that.
But I changed it around to fit into this one. So
Loved it.
uh
Cool.
Ursula would have been like the singer, the like, you know, that type of person. And then Ariel would have been someone else. But Ariel actually was the killer and not Ursula.
My
Yeah.
Ariel.
Which, what actually it is, they would have had different names. They would have been Ariel and Ursula. But I would have described Ursula as having like white hair, black skin, like very voluptuous woman. You know, her hair is all coiffed, very Ursula vibes. And then Ariel, I would describe her, you know, as tan skin, you know, the red hair, kind of Latina-ish a little bit. But in Ursula's true form, she was red hair with purple, like seashell and green tail, and Ariel's look would have been the Dracula. So, yeah,
Fun.
No, this was a super good one. I love you guys. I have to go, but I
yeah.
love you guys so much, and I missed you. And D&D
I
was
miss you
super fun.
guys.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you guys had fun.
All right,
All right.
I'll
Have a
see you
good night,
guys
everyone.
Monday.
Have
Okay.
a good night, you guys.
Bye, guys.
May the
Hi.
force be with you.